What is up, beautiful people? Kirby Hasseman here, and I want to talk to you about the relentless pursuit of better customer lists, building a customer list today. Now, if this is providing you any value, please feel free to subscribe wherever you're listening or watching, and I do have some gifts for you today. I want to provide you extra value. If you go to hitthetargetbook.com, you can get my ebook, the audiobook version if you're more of an audiobook person. And if you want to really dive deep, we do a video course around it as well. And it's all based around my book, Hit the Target, Creating Better Marketing. So I hope that provides you value. So today, I want to talk about building a better customer list. Look, the reality of it is, and for many of us, one of the big value points of our business is our customer list. So if we build a better customer list, we're going to have a better business. And I think what I want to do today is talk to you about how to do that and why that actually matters. So the first thing I want to talk to you is a concept that I love. It's the difference between rented media and owned media. So rented media is that kind of media that we kind of lease from somebody else. Somebody else has built this audience. And the reality of it is, this is the kind of marketing and advertisement that most of us have been way comfortable with. It's really how it's been done since sort of the beginning of time. So the radio station, the billboard company, the newspaper, whoever, they have built an audience. And when you want to advertise, you want to communicate with people, you rent time from their audience, and you have to pay them every time you do that. Nothing wrong with that, and I think it's an important mix of your marketing, but it's not the only way. Owned media is the kind of, think of it as your email list, your text list, whatever it is, where you have gotten permission, you've provided value in some way. And so the people that you want to communicate with have raised their hand, they've signed up and said, yes, please communicate to me on a regular basis. That's owned media. You get to decide. You get to decide when you communicate, how you communicate, what you communicate to them. And there is just an incredible amount of power with this. Seth Godin calls it permission marketing. They've given you permission to communicate with them. And there's so much value in doing that, because if you have an event, if you have a new product launch, if you have some sort of offering that you want to do, you get to choose. Now, many of us have, over the years, signed up for email lists that have not been respectful of the list. I think back when Groupon first came out, I signed up for Groupon, and I'm not trying to take shots here, but I signed up for them thinking, oh, I might get some deals on vacations. And then all of a sudden, man, they were sending me emails 10, 11, 12, 15 times a day. And so I opted out because I felt like they were sending me everything. They didn't respect the list. And I think many of us are afraid that we don't want to build a list because we've been burned by that sort of thing, and we think, oh, my customers will never do that. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a second. But I'm telling you, just because somebody else has done email or texting terribly doesn't mean you have to do it. You need to respect the list. If you build your list, you can build your business. So while rented media is an important component of most advertising and marketing, creating your own email list can be one of the most powerful things you can do to build your business. So that's owned media. And so that's why this is such an important topic. As you start to build your email list, or your owned list, let's call it, I am not a proponent of, okay, I'm just going to build that list and then I'm only going to communicate to them when I have an offer. I believe that you should be, if you have built the list through social media, now you've done that by providing value, I think you need to continue to provide value through email. So communicating to them on a regular basis, whoever is on your list, with content, with maybe content you've created, content you've curated, communicating with them on a regular basis in a way that continues to provide them value will help you build that integrity, build that relationship, so that when you decide to make the ask, they're ready. One person I'm seeing do this really, really well right now is Alex Hormozi. He's somebody who I follow a lot. And for a long time, he did not do a ton of emails. And you're seeing him as he's built, if you are not following, he's had 2 crazy best-selling books, $100 million offers and $100 million leads. He has an amazing social media presence, and he has developed into doing more of this owned media. He's sending emails that provide a ton of value. And his ask then might be like, you can then learn more about acquisition.com, which is his company where he's building brands. So even the biggest brands on the planet are doing this. Even the biggest social media brands are doing this, where we say, hey, we want to bring this in-house so I can communicate to them. I don't have to rely on an algorithm. As a side note, that's another thing, is people say, my owned media. Oh yeah, absolutely. I've got a following on Facebook. I've got a following on TikTok. I just want to tell you that those are still rented media, because you don't get to decide. The algorithm gets to decide. Most people don't understand that let's use Facebook as an example. If you have 1,000 followers, really only 3 to 5% of them are going to see your message on a regular basis, unless the algorithm decides that it's really interesting and engaging. And so even though you have that following, you don't get control. And the example I use is several years ago, Instagram and Facebook went down for several hours, and a lot of business owners I know lost their minds because their only way to communicate to their customer base went away. And so utilize social media. It's powerful. That's really important. But by utilizing that to then build your own list, that's when you can really see some amazing growth and amazing growth in your business. Okay, so how do I start to build my own list? And it really is enhanced by understanding exactly who you're trying to reach, because when you are trying to reach somebody, you know what problems they're trying to solve. And what you can do is create a lead magnet around it. So what's a lead magnet? A lead magnet is something of value that you could give that target customer so that they are willing to give up their information. They're willing to give you their email, their text message, however you're trying to build that list, so that you can help them solve a problem. So you got to understand who they are and the problems they need to solve in order to provide something of value for them, right? And so if you are a realtor and you want to sell more houses, you might create a lead magnet around the idea of 7 ways to get $10,000 more for your home, right? That you're selling a home. Now, if someone's selling a home, that might be of value for them, so they might put their email address in. So what does that do? Number one, it provides them value. You want it, by the way, you want it to be really valuable. Don't give them junk, because then they will associate junk with your brand. But if you provide something that actually solves their problem, that shows that you are an expert in that, number one, it starts to build a relationship. It builds integrity. They know you know what you're talking about. You've helped them solve a problem. The other thing that's happened is, they're trying to sell a house, right? So if you know they have the problem that you are uniquely qualified to solve. So when you create a lead magnet over time, this is one of those things that you can start to build a list, and you do it in a way that serves the customer. Now, one way that I've used to jumpstart it, so my wife and I also own a motel or some real estate in our community, and we realized that we were utilizing only Airbnb through the communication. Nothing wrong with that. They do a great job, but we didn't have direct access to the customers, and that was challenging, because if we were slow or we wanted to promote something or whatever, then we had to rely on social media and hope that Airbnb did it. But we had no audience. We had none of those contact information. So we did a contest that said, hey, we will give you a night's stay or 2 nights stay and a $50 gift cards to a couple local restaurants. So we did a contest that helped us start our email list until we were able to start to build lead magnets that drove value to those people. And that allowed us to kickstart our list so that we had people to communicate with. Understand that there is value in owned media. You want to have a better business, you want to have better marketing, build a better customer list. And so this is one of the steps to doing this. I hope this has provided you some value. If so, please feel free to subscribe. And also head to hitthetargetbook.com and you can actually deep dive into this topic. We got the ebook, it's for free. The audiobook is for free, and you can even dive into a course about this as well. Again, hope this has provided value, and I will see you next time as we relentlessly pursue better.